Both sides of a story. Both sides of a story. Both sides of a story. Both sides of a story.
Ready? Ready?
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find success begins with will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, 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 try. You'll succeed at last. Don't you know how sure. It is Friday, the 20th of September, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, 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 try. Succeed at last. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp. The same the test. What am I saying? Come again. Those who would like to send text messages and WhatsApp messages, the text messages are the same as the WhatsApp messages in terms of the contact point, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. But the regular call-in lines, 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. We're anxious and curious to find out what's on your mind collectively. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your questions, your issues. etc. We're trying to figure out whose message this was, but it hasn't revealed itself. But it seems to be an attempt at a question for Delia Walker Huntington when she was on yesterday. Sorry, we're just able to get a hold of that message. We could always put it on pause, all things being well, until next Thursday. And this message from Horace, otherwise called Spider, says, Mr. I'm not having that problem because I use termite resistant materials. Oh, this was a discussion on termite resistant materials. That was one of the issues touched on yesterday, raised by a couple of our listeners. So Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says he's not having that problem because he uses termite resistant materials to do his kitchen. This may cause these people to do over their kitchen, says Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Let's see who else is messaging us. Dr. Clifton W. Reed, saying, remember the little girl you interviewed at the scholarship event? Oh, would love to hear the good news. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
The Farm to Fortune promotion. Hydro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million. Weekly prizes of $100,000 plus daily prizes. Enter by any qualifying Hydro feed and text the extra code in the bag for your chance to win a product yacht in the Hydro Farm to Fortune promotion. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58 of the Pennsylvania Vouchers Act.
Looking to take your agriculture business to the next level? New growth opportunities are here with the Developing Bank of Jamaica. Small farmers, agro-processors, and all SMEs in the agriculture sector can access up to $30 million in loans. Visit us at www.dbankjn.com or send us a WhatsApp text message at 876-371-3830 to find out about our agri-based loans. Conditions apply.
Did I fall? Did I threaten? DJ have something for them. All right, we are trying to do better.
The Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica will host the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnic World Congress 2024 from September 25 to 27 at the Hilton Rosal Resort and Spa in St. James. The global experts will meet to analyze the future of technical and vocational education and training under the theme Empower, Equip, Excel. Tune in to Power 106 FM on Wednesday, September 25 for a live broadcast of Power Talk from the Congress. This broadcast is brought to you by the Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica, CCCJ. That's a broadcast of Power Talk this Wednesday, September 25, from the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics World Congress at the Hilton Rosal Resort and Spa in St. James, live on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Opposition will come away. But the better you see. With the sweeter the victory now. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try. You succeed at last.
You succeed at last. Don't you know it? Don't I show? You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You succeed at last. Persecution, you must.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Good afternoon to those who have just joined us. We see the operators of Esmond's Curry Powder in place. Marlene Love Mahoney says, big up my father, GG, in Broadgate, St. Mary. And I think she wants to say something here about lesson every day. Oh, listen. Okay. He listens every day. He listens to you every day. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Marlene Love Mahoney says our volume is low. Let's see if we can make an adjustment there. But in the meantime, we continue on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. So we did see that message. We have quite a bit to get through. But that message I started reading was from Dr. Clifton Reed. And he was about to remind us of a student who has been doing well all the way up to university right now. I think that's the story he meant to share, but didn't get the opportunity at the time. And we trust we'll be able to get that story. This week is also Peace Week. And Manchester Peace Coalition, in partnership with Broadleaf Primary and Infant School, presenting Peace Week 2024 community outreach. They'll expected activities, health talks and checks. Free reading classes will be included, peace songs and poems competition, skits, and much more, live entertainment by the Step by Step Band, and lunch will be served as well. And there are some partners on board: the RGD, the Registrar General's Department, the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, along with others. So you can check that out on International Peace Day. Good afternoon to Rohan Johnson of Atlas Ocherios. Thank you for your message. As usual, all the best. And keep those messages and those calls coming in, 876-365-3346. Hello to Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada. And Franklin MacDonald, always participating. He has sent us a link to a story of Doctor of Law and Policy, Boston graduate programs. Thank you, Mr. MacDonald. Mike Montgomery says, good afternoon, teacher, to you and your listeners. I'm here home watching you live on Facebook. Keep doing what you do. Keep safe. Thank you very much, Mike Montgomery. All the best to you and yours. Inez Ayona Campbell Murray says, a pleasant afternoon, Friday, Mr. Dervan viewers and listeners. TGIF. TGIF to you too. Thank you for your message. And let's keep it going here on both sides of the story. Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And let's see who else is messaging us. And come down the line as we get ready for all the activities, the Peace Day and Peace Week activities. Muy buenos dias, says, who is this now? This is, I think this is Dr. Corbett Ball. I think that's who this is. Muy buenos dias. Kindly share. Ooh, da, 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 da. All right, Lowe's. All right, we'll have to talk off air. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Felicidades to you too. Thank you for reaching out. We'll catch up for sure. Thank you for your message. Martha Corbett Bo. Muchas gracias. All right. And let's see who else is hitting us up online. A lot of sharing going on in terms of information. And Richie Nibar is in touch with us as well. Thank you very much. Angelia Christian, I wonder if she's still at it or she's heading back to the UK right now. She has had a very busy time over the last couple of days, and it's all voluntary work. And let's keep going down the line here. Raskava, we see a message here from you. He says, this is your highway, it's in your hands now. Before that, no way can any government receive a highway after the contractors will say, this is your highway, it's in your hands now, only to find out that the road is not what we paid for, says Raskava. And let's go down the line. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. As we thank you for making it both sides of the story here on Paro 106 FM. There's a story that is attached to this link. Berbice cop under close arrest over bribe accusation. And this is from the Stabroek News coming out of Guyana. Berbice cop under close arrest over bribe accusation. And let's see. We have maybe room for about one more message, and then we go to the break here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Just a reminder in the meantime, it's 876 922 4112 to 5. And the text line 876-365-3346. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number. So we appreciate your messages. Keep them coming here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Welcome, Valerie Weller Peck. Good afternoon to you too, and everyone else connected and in touch with us. Faye Weller says, I'm here listening to you all on my radio. That's good to know. Thank you very much for keeping the connection. We appreciate it. And all the very best. Let's go to the break and come back with more in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:30. Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Harvey Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
This is Crime Stop. How may I help?
No, them bears some illegal gun, but me know what them know say I'm big talk.
Don't worry, sir. Crime Stop is privately funded and run by the PSOJ. Everything reported here is anonymous. It's just like you're invisible.
What about the reward?
We provide cash rewards for information that leads to an arrest or recovery. We'll stash the cash wherever you like, so nobody will ever find out.
All right, me tell you.
Make the call. Crime Stop 311. Solving crime pays. Both sides of the story.
So, you think you can spell? Want to learn a word or two? Well, tune in to Power 106 FM on Wednesday, September 25 from 2 to 5 p.m. during both sides of the story for a live outside broadcast from the National Council of Senior Citizens National Senior Spelling Bee Competition. Coming to you from the AC Hotel in Kingston. Let's support our senior citizens from across Jamaica as they compete for the top prize as top speller. This broadcast is brought to you by the National Council for Senior Citizens, promoting healthy, active, and productive aging, an agency of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. So tune in for the live outside broadcast from the National Senior Spelling Bee Competition this Wednesday, September 25, during both sides of the story from 2 to 5 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM. Try. You succeed at last. Persecution, you must be. We are looking at it.
So once a reminder that the Manchester Peace Coalition and partners are presenting International Peace Day civic ceremony under the theme Cultivating a Culture of Peace. The location is on the Mandeville Greens in Cecil Charlton Park. The guest speaker, Dr. Elaine Williams Morgan, author, media and management consultant, featuring panel discussion moderated by the Honorable Custis Garfield Green, building and maintaining compassionate communities. And they encourage you to stay for Peace Concert, following right after with the step-by-step band. And that's coming up, so listen out for it. As we continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And we're still looking forward to the story that Dr. Clifton Reed started sharing with us about that talented, smart little girl. We'll come back to that another time. But let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
A very hot weekend.
Yeah, been that way for some time now.
Well, yes, it's so hot. The sun is hot and everything, you know. How am I personal view?
Say that again, please.
I don't know, just
No, repeat what you said, please.
I said my personal view.
Yes.
It will be in the best interest for the Prime Minister of Jamaica to resign
Okay.
and for the election. It will save him from thousands of embarrassment. This embarrassment that saves him.
How so?
Also,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm an African Jamaican, Mr. Malcolm. The truth always reveals. And you ask me also, the Prime Minister of Jamaica deceived the people because he said there was no film cabinet or film involved in what is going on now. Well, I know the truth is out. All right, can I continue? Says the Prime it's not surprised to many of us to hear what is happening, as I most of us don't really vote, because we know that these so-called leaders do not have the interest of the African Jamaica. All they want to do is use us for their personal convenience. The Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance tell us, we Jamaicans, to USA, to United States of America, let them for us and stop killing. That's why we have to wake up and stop killing our brothers and sisters in the name of politics. A lot of these gangs in Jamaica, we know how it started. And when them foot is getting too big for their shoes, we know what happened. Let us not forget what happened at Green Bay and who was behind it. That is where it all started. All begin. A lot more could be said. I leave it there. You are talking to one who spent some time in the Jamaica Defense Force. I heard different subjects. I heard my two African brothers, Ross Carvey and
Rascava.
Yeah, Ross Carver and Jalai.
Yes.
Were having a debate and the best way for us to return to motherland. And I find it interesting. Some people will say the both of them is saying two different things. So they are confusing. No, they are not. They are not.
because everyone has the right to their opinion.
That is true.
Right to their opinion.
That is
So
true.
both of them is right. They have to disagree to agree. But when I look outside the box, I will go with what Ross Carver said. Ross Carver.
Carver.
Yeah, Ross Carver. That we must get the relevant people us to go to motherland. We must do it the right way by getting the relevant people in Jamaica involved, also in Africa, so that we can get a royal welcome.
Sounds like you have a plan. Share it with us, no?
I don't want to steal on you.
Mm.
When we read, we would not like to go the way we come. Some of us were stuck as tight as started. Some of us was seen as carver. When them around short of food and water, some throw in the sea. So we have a right to collect the liquor money before we leave, because it was we who built the cabin, we plant the corn. My people were treated like they were no human. So many of them died. Some of us go down. So let us say this, that everyone has a right to their own opinion. But when we are going, we must go the right way. So when we have topics like this, we must look outside the box and inside the box.
But why is anybody in the box in the first place?
Well, some of the time we have to steer in the box, but if you're not looking outside the box, you cannot get a straight line. This is what I was taught when I was doing human growth and development 23 years ago. When you look outside the box, you see a better view. You have to look outside the box and inside the best to make the best decision. Make it look like we are not illiterate. Have a nice day, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you too. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, all right.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's take some more of your calls. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my Professor Dervan Malcolm.
Welcome, Mr. Neville Carter.
Good afternoon to your valuable callers, your workers there, you see, and your listeners.
Thank you on their behalf.
Mr. Malcolm, one of the good things about Jamaica right now, and we should all be taking opportunity of it, Jamaica has to build back before Jesus comes. That is one of my mantras. And you see the amount of work that is in Jamaica to do now. Any of you out there who have a skill, you need to go and get your skill certified, because anywhere you go in Jamaica now, every nook and cranny, every road, every lane, there is work for your skill. That is one of the good things I say about Jamaica. So you see the children there, Mr. Malcolm, they're going to need guidance. Because the state of the world, I'm not talking about Jamaica now, the world. When you look in Europe, when you look in Germany, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
The German economy, the largest car manufacturer in Germany is now in the trash can. Volkswagen, you follow? And the war that is going on in Europe now, the only way the Germans can make a money now to sustain what's going on is through the sale of guns and ammunition and bombs. Can you imagine Hitler was in World War One and World War Two, right? And they dropped bombs on the Jews and what they did to the Jews. Did you know that now Germany, you know, is now selling guns and ammunition that is being used against the Palestinian people and the Russian people? After so the world came down against Germany in World War II. And one of the things about Germany is that the United Nations, they signed a declaration that Germany not supposed to be selling any guns and ammunition in the world again, you know, based on what they did to the world in World War One and Two, you know, Sister Malcolm. Did you know that?
No, but that's encouraging news. Hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
This segment during both sides of the story is sponsored by the Optical Zone.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets, and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers, and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
In case of an earthquake, and the place that shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake, case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all. Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's WERENDY.org for more information.
The Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, PSJ, will host their 39th annual conference on September 19 to 22 at the Ocean Coral Spring Resort in Trelawney under the theme Pharmacists, Trusted, Empowered, United for Action. The conference is yet another significant occasion for the pharmacy profession as stakeholders will come together to network, see innovations in the industry, and discuss hot topics in pharmacy. Tune in to Power 106 FM for a broadcast of Power and Glory with Althea McKenzie on Sunday, September 22 for highlights of the conference. This broadcast is brought to you by the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, PSJ, R.A. Williams, Caramin Limited, and Kirk FP, Marshall's Pharmacy, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. That's an outside broadcast of Power and Glory from the 39th Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica's conference this Sunday, September 22, right here on Power 106 FM.
Our faithful listener, Albert Lewis in Coconut Creek, Florida, has been bringing to our attention a matter of low volume. All right, we'll make a note of it. And Albert says, Sir D, greetings on the job doing a test drive on the Florida Turnpike, trying to duplicate a nagging problem. I hope you have resolved that problem, Mr. Lewis. Thank you for sharing the information with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Ras Asta Black says, greetings, King. Greetings to the reggae family. Join in the lobby to rename the North Coast Highway to the Reggae Highway from Mobe Airport to Ocho Rios. One love. All the best, Ras Asta Black. Thank you for your message. Stephen Barnes says, good afternoon, Malcolm. Looking forward to being informed on current issue and history. All right, we're looking to you as well, Stephen Barnes, to share with us that which you have in terms of information. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Let's go to the phone lines once again. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Malcolm.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
telling you that when you look across the globe now, you can see that the capitalist system that they set up is being dismantled every day right in front of our eyes. And it is causing war among all the politicians across the globe, Mr. Malcolm.
Mhm.
All the politicians have drawn the red line. Those who are in line for NATO, those who are inclined for the Privy Council, those who are inclined for the IMF. Right now in the Pacific and in the Mediterranean, the Chinese and the Russians, for the first time in human history, is parading 900 warships to show the Americans their military might that they have built up. Can you imagine that, Mr. Malcolm?
It's a show of force, apparently.
Mr. Malcolm,
Mm-hmm.
what is the role and the function of the church in our democracy?
I think it depends on the extent to which the church, in a collective manner, shares its fundamental principles and approaches and service to humanity. It's a function of which area the representative is referring to in particular.
This divide that we have among our people after 400 years of shackle slavery, this divide that is among our people, you think it is good for us, Mr. Malcolm?
No, division, when it's cantankerous, does very little, if anything, for us.
Mr. Malcolm, in this world today, we use the materialism taking over, right? And people ranking you based on your status, based on where you live, what you have, which car you drive, what kind of clothes you wear, how you look, how you talk, the degree, the letters behind the name, and all of these things. What do you think about that, Mr. Malcolm? Is it sustainable?
It depends on the angle from which those who are leading the charge are coming from.
The angle that they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that, Professor?
Their particular ideation. What is it that they, when they sat down to put thought to certain elements?
Let me ask you this, Mr. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
If when your children go to school and they go to a good school like Immaculate Conception, Champion College, and they have a high level of academics, and they go to the university and they come back with a master's degree, and they live on Maxfield Avenue, and another man in God is same Immaculate, but he lives on over Narbrook, and he live up on Narbrook. Do you know that the Maxfield Avenue man who lives down there is undermined by the system for living down there? What do you think caused that mindset, Mr. Malcolm?
The environment in and of itself. There's a whatever has been fostered or fomented. Whatever elements have already been fostered or fomented, then that will create a true picture of what is happening, how it got started, what are the implications for the community, and to be able to work your way out of a space that is inhibitive.
There's space in Cherry Garden for all of us to live with someone.
I don't think so.
So if a man lives in a Maxfield Avenue, why should they look up to the Cherry Garden man as more prestigious and bright animal undermine the Maxfield man? Why?
Well, it's a function of one's socialization, It all comes back to the individual. At some point or another, it comes back to the individual.
But
And
people must realize your voice, Prophet.
right, no, go ahead.
Never say so much. A mathematics need talk about and accounting. I'm not a politician. As a matter of fact, I'm a political atheist. Yeah, I don't vote in this country neither, Mr. Malcolm. Stop voting. You sure me ever said to you? You see in accounting, like when they're teaching immaculate and all over the place, principles of accounting, mathematics, there are certain, you know that you have a fundamental principle named bomb that they use in maths, or you do maths, or you set out maths, bomb that named bracket over division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. You ever hear that maths law?
Barely, faintly, at some point, yes.
It's the fundamental of maths in our culture. You see the businesses them in Jamaica, Mr. Malcolm, from Nigel Point to Moran Point, they need to take a cue, just a cue, like how you take a cue a right from what is going on in the politics in Jamaica. Because you see the state of the world now, there's a class of people that is being wiped out slowly but surely in all of the world to make way for the new world order and the great reset, digital economy, and the cashless society. That class of people named the middle class. Who are the middle class in your opinion, Mr. Malcolm? The Maxfield man or the Cherry Garden man? Mr. Malcolm?
Yes, I'm with you.
The middle class man in Jamaica is the Cherry Garden man, or the Beverly Hills man, or the Maxfield man, or the Onyx Garden man, or the Waterhouse man. Which set of people them call the middle class among us?
Those who are constantly seeking to position themselves or gain a position that will put them in a state of striving, of pursuing.
Security. Let me tell you this. You see the cue that the small businesses and the household must take from this. If they want to reach 18 in Jamaica, you're supposed to file what is known as annual returns to the tax office, whether you earn $0 or $5 million. And there's going to come a time in this country, in the world, where they're going to, the system is being dismantled now. All of we have a come under some form of pressure because the system needs more resources, especially money. And you see the middle class and the upper class, the man who live at Beverly Hills and Cherry Garden and Narborough, he now come back to Maxfield Avenue and Onyx Gardens come live, you know. You earn, let's say you're earning $2 million a month, Mr. Malcolm. That's impersonal, right? And you're going to earn that money till you're dead. Till you're dead, you know. You see anything wrong with that person wanting more money, Mr. Malcolm?
It's a liberal environment for the most part that we're operating.
Liberal.
Yes, and so people.
You don't know what liberal means, my professor. Can you break it down from a mother so that you can understand what liberal means?
A feeling of freedom.
Oh, beautiful. You're free for making the amount of money you want. We live in a society, in a system in a mathematical matrix that is being set by the Bank of Jamaica through their monetary and fiscal policy, by the government through its fiscal policy, the budget them that in set, by the PSOJ and their pricing strategy, that is going to suck away a class of people in Jamaica that born with dirt spoon in their mouth, while trying to create a set of people who can't sustain them lifestyle. Because if I was earning $2 million a month till me dead enough, that me I get in my bank book every month till me dead. Me never, me no want no more money. Somebody come me good till me dead. Because you know why me say me good till me dead?
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because I live a simple life, Mr. Malcolm, and living my simple life, I achieve 4 basic things that every man, even when you're living at the moon, you achieve. Food, clothes, shelter, and tender loving care. I'm going to bed to sleep till the next day and give that time.
Amen.
Amen, my professor. Listen to this. What is happening here in Jamaica now in accounting terms?
We have to, I thought you were rapping. Sorry. Because we have to go to the break now.
Yeah, going to rap when you come back.
Okay.
The preceding segment during both sides of the story was sponsored by the Optical Zone.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. The Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, PSJ, will host their 39th annual conference on September 19 to 22 at the Ocean Coral Spring Resort in Trelawney under the theme Pharmacists, Trusted, Empowered, United for Action. The conference is yet another significant occasion for the pharmacy profession, as stakeholders will come together to network, see innovations in the industry, and to discuss hot topics in pharmacy. Tune in to Power 106 FM for a broadcast of Power and Glory with Althea McKenzie on Sunday, September 22 for highlights of the conference. This broadcast is brought to you by the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, PSJ, R.A. Williams, Carmen Limited and Kirk FP, Marshall's Pharmacy, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. That's an outside broadcast of Power and Glory from the 39th Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica's conference this Sunday, September 22, right here on Power 106 FM. The Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica invites you to the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics World Congress 2024 from September 25 to 27 at Hilton Rose Hall Resort and Spa, Montego Bay, St. James. Come network with global experts and discuss the future of technical and vocational education and training under the theme Empower, Equip, Excel. For more information and to register, visit cccj.edu.jm.
Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. This is the section of the report that speaks to the 28th Bank Book.
Mm-hmm.
People must listen and know why smart men with advice from their accountants keep 28th Bank Book. You see, the insurance that governs the financial system, Mr. Malcolm, in Jamaica, it only insures you up to $1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a bank book with $1.3 million in it, or $8 million or what have you, one bank book and you lie down where you are, or you have the money from fixed deposit. Now, $12 million fixed deposit, if that bank should go down, you're only going to get back $1.2 million from the insurance, and you have to hug up that and go cry. In order to avoid that, I don't give financial advice. Take a cue from the integrity report. And the man who lead in your country, setting a good example. Go and regularize your money in the banking system so that when the attack comes, because it's going to come in us. It's going to come in the name of God in the last days. Make sure when when them clamp the switch, you don't have more than $1.2 million in all in your bank book. That means you can go in front of these privy council and say, I have 28 bank books and none of them are more than $1.2 million. Let the government give them more money with insurance and set up. And they will have to pay you that back till you're dead. Isn't that a smart move, Mr. Malcolm? Talk to me, my professor.
Well, you seem to have studied it and have learned some things and are looking to operationalize some of those lessons.
Because you see, everything that is happening with the Prime Minister and his finances, the law and the books is not just there for the Prime Minister. You know? Once you reach over 18, worse if you operate in a small business or not, you're supposed to file an annual return. You know? And we must take a cue from these things because, trust me, Mr. Malcolm, based on what is going on in the world, we are in the last days and we must expect strange things to be continued, my professor.
Thank you for the call. All the best.
All the best to you for the weekend and get some rest.
Thank you. And you do likewise. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And we're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 we're going to another call. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Let me take the time out to say to you and Power 106 and the faithful listeners, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is my second time calling you, Mr. Malcolm. And
thank you.
Recently, it was in August, I had the opportunity to visit Jamaica. And I must say to the Honorable Prime Minister, I must say to him that Jamaica is in safe hands. To the policemen and the soldier them that continue to patrol the street of Jamaica, I happened to get pulled over a few times while driving in Jamaica. And I must say the policemen them, when they pulled me over, they said to me, "Good afternoon, sir." And they acknowledge me and they tell me their name and their rank and said we are just doing a little spot check. There was no police officer out there stretching them hand or doing anything that is against the Jamaica Constable Force law. And I must say to the Ministry of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Chang, and to the police commission and the JDF. Sometimes we hear so many negative things about the JDF and the JCF. And I must say they're doing a wonderful job. Mr. Malcolm, I had the opportunity to visit the Port Maria tax department because my wife needed to pay her tax bill. And I'm telling you, the courtesy from the tax department, from the lady outside, I gave the ticket to the one that, and Mr. Malcolm, so many times Jamaicans visit Jamaica and them come back and them spread a lot of negative things of what is taking place in Jamaica. But I must say, I'm proud of the work that the Honorable Prime Minister is doing. Mr. Malcolm, allow me to circle all the way down to Manchester now. I had an opportunity to visit South Manchester, where my grandmother is from. And I must say that the Member of Parliament, Mr. Robert Chen, and of course the Councillor for the Grovetown Division, Action, Cherry Brown, what a wonderful work they're doing. I see where people were protesting the other day about the road condition in Prattville, and like the MP said that the same day that the contractor supposed to be dropping off work, the material, people are protesting. The MP said that the last time the Jamaica Labour Party went South Manchester, I think it was 1989. And before that, Mr. Robert Chin became the Member of Parliament in 2020, so for almost 30-something years. And I've never seen anybody in South Manchester protest about the road condition, whether in Lancaster, whether in Prattville, whether in Grovetown, or whether in Crosskeys. But I must say to the people them from South Manchester, check on yourself. See the work that the Honorable Prime Minister and his cabinet are doing. Manchester isn't safe and in South Manchester. I must circle my way back into Clarendon, and I listened to the Honorable Minister of Health this morning, Dr. Christopher Tufton. And I must say to Dr. Christopher Tufton, he opened up a new health center in Eastern St. Thomas. And boy, I'm proud to say Dr. Christopher Tufton, a top man in the Ministry of Health. And I must say to the Minister of Finance, Honorable Nigel Clark, we're going to miss him. But I know the Prime Minister have someone in mind to take over that portfolio. And Mr. Malcolm, I'm so grateful that I continue to listen to Power 106, because whenever you come on Power 106, you educate us, and our listeners call, especially the listener that does call 2 minutes before I did. I just want to say good afternoon to him. And like he said, he's not political and he doesn't vote. But I just want to say to him, you need to vote, because sometimes when you don't vote, you allow other people to make the decision for you. And sometimes the people who don't vote, they complain the most. You understand? So I'm telling everybody to pray and continue to pray for the Honorable Prime Minister. I know that God is watching over him, and so many things is going on. But like I said, the Prime Minister, people's calling on the Honorable Prime Minister to step down and to step aside. And I would say to them, before any of you cast the first stone, check on yourself. I see where the opposition leader and other PMP are bashing the Prime Minister. Remember Finsack? You remember the Dutch government? You remember the Cuban light bulb?
If you keep that going, I'm going to have to send you a bill.
Okay, Mr. Malcolm. Thank you very much for allowing me to come on your platform and just to go ahead and get this stuff off my mind, because so many things are negative are coming toward the Prime Minister. And to you, Mr. Malcolm, once again, have yourself a safe weekend and continue to do what you do best.
Thank you very much for the call. All the best.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And coming up in a couple of minutes or so, it will be time for us to give you a preview of the International Day of Peace under the theme Cultivating a Culture of Peace. And we look forward to the information that will be shared with us in a couple of minutes from now. So listen out for that coming up here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And we are curious to find out the nature and extent of the information that is going to be shared with us by the Violence Prevention Alliance and other individuals, institutions, organizations. And let's see how that goes. As we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And we are standing by to go to the break. So stay with us as we continue with more on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. But we are going to look to the International Day of Peace. That's the observance that we will be marking tomorrow. So let's stand by for that. So we will take the break and come back with our guest for the preview of the International Day of Peace, which is, you'll hear more in just a moment. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 3:15. Join us weekdays from 6 to 8 p.m. for Power Play, Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to
this says
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Power Play. My name is Cliff Williams.
Power Play with Cliff Williams, focusing on everything sports in Jamaica and around the world. Make sure to tune in to Power Play, providing invigorating sports analysis and discussion, weekdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
You succeed at last.
Apologies. I should have said 4:15 as opposed to 3:15. Well, I was looking at a timepiece here. Oh dear, sorry about that. But it's coming up at 4:15 this afternoon. The preview of the International Day of Peace under the theme Cultivating a Culture of Peace, an overview of the partnership between the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Violence Prevention Alliance, VPA, to foster peace and environmental stewardship, which was launched today. And we'll hear more. In the meantime, let's take some more of your calls. Let's go to this one here. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Marco. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing great.
What's on your mind this afternoon?
All right. Well, if I'm on mind right now, CM Andrew saga. Andrew Holness doing a lot of bad things to Jamaica.
Hold on there now. Your volume is up and down and a little wavy at
Andrew
times.
Holness do a lot of bad things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Such as?
First bad things him do. Remember when them do the letter, the undated letter?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. That was not good. All right.
Well, you're free to give. You're free to state your position.
Yeah, it was not good thing. And Andrew Holness tell a lot of that.
No, we're not gonna do that.
No, then let me explain to you now.
Go ahead.
I live in New York, yeah. And Andrew Holness just shortly after Mr. Golden leave and it over to him. I hear him on the radio station over it. No new election right now. And by the time he go back to Jamaica, the next week he announce election. Now we think that is what you call. That's a big lie him just tell. Because in a 2 weeks, you say no election and then as you reach Jamaica, so you call election. Now concerning the integrity, Andrew Willis know everything where I go. And him come on the radio and news media and say, well then, him don't know of nothing. Nobody get in his party under investigation. When him know that he himself under investigation. And a lot of other member under investigation. And him saying don't know. How can you lead a country and tell him making up this story? You have to do the right thing. People out there listening and hearing everything, you know. You understand?
So
No, I gather based on what I hear come out in all those reports that he have 3 company plus in paycheck where he get from the government. It not add up to no that he can move 400 million. Where him get all the money there? 400 million a whole of money for one somebody have, you know. The Prime Minister job can't give him $400 million. Then 3 company where if so be the case. And you have to make all of the money. What are you doing in a politics? Right? These things are right. Next thing with the finance minister. When the finance minister raised the pay to the member of parliament and the minister, them ask Andrew about it. Andrew said, it's not him, it's the finance minister. Like him don't know nothing about it. And then him turn on and say, well then boy, I'm going to give you back 3 more. Now what war around the country? Eh? And the finance minister now, according to him, he is a patriotic Jamaica. And my run will leave Jamaica right now to go work with the army. And I leave Jamaica in a problem. And if he is a good finance minister, trust me, the dollar don't have no business being 158 to 1. You understand? No business being 158 to 1 if he is a good finance minister. Them say Mr. Siaga was the financial wizard. Mr. Siaga keep the money at 550 for a long time. How him can do that? And him good. Come on.
it perhaps would not be wise to apply old practices in a more dynamic environment. So it doesn't necessarily mean that what worked yesterday is going to work today.
Yeah, but if you're good man, you're gonna make things work.
Well, you can try. If you succeed, then more power to you.
Yeah, but you know, as I say, the dollar now have no business being a 158. Trust me, if you guys are good finance, no matter who in it. And then listen, the PKMP them a problem too, you know, when I lie you, because Mr. Patterson raising pension to the same amount of money. Him raising pension to the same amount of money like in paycheck when he retire. And now he retire and him collect the same amount of money. They want to the low class people them. They not to put them pay the same way too. If them are going to raise for the money, they must say, well then alright. The ordinary little man who out there work when he retire, you go and get the same. And then we will say, well then alright, things balance. Because we know things tough for Jamaica here. With people the pension, they can't even get the pension on time. And the little pittance so them get can't even do nothing. Look how much light bill come to. Water rate and all these things. Come on, man. These politicians need to do something better for the people. See? In America.
Where should they start?
What?
Where do you think they should start? Based on what you have said so far.
unemployment. You know, say when unemployment down, unemployment up, you know, say it better for the economy because everybody have a job and crime will cut down, you know. But everybody now the time to go do crime, you know. Find job with the people them. See? Because the people have a good job where they get a good salary where they can take care of themselves. They don't have time to go rob people. Eh? That's the first start, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if your neighbor alright, you know, no worries, you know, because the neighbor alright in Ghana work and him now have to rob your place. So employment is what people need, and good employment with good salary. See? No. Yeah, people can't survive on little pittance, man. No good. So that are the main starting point. They say them to start. Give the people them job and pay them good money. Because the politicians remember get good money to take care of themselves and their family. I think people them out there need good job with good paying job. Yeah. Minimum wage supposed to be at least $30,000 a month a week. And that not even enough.
How much is that in US dollars?
30,000, about 200. And that not even enough.
Okay.
Yeah. See? So we don't know, but they need to start and give some people some good paying job. Make people stop commit crime.
The two don't necessarily connect.
What do you mean?
You're building
good paying job and unemployment.
You are building up
Because people
a position.
Eh?
As if to say that this is the only thing that is happening that would cause people to do certain things, taking it to another.
No, that is the main one, you know. I don't want to say that only, but that I think that is the main one.
Oh.
Police and soldier and all these people need to get good pay. So they don't have to go out there and tell people about the right or left. See?
Mm-hmm.
If them something happening in New York, you know, nobody no come tell the police the right or left, you know. A jail you gone for that. As a matter of fact, they don't even go in their mind to do that. See? Because they get good salary to take care of themselves and their family. Yeah. If these people is getting good pay, they don't have no time to do that. Yeah. So all these things, we have to look into these things and realize that, trust me, the country will be better. The politician might do better.
Mm-hmm.
See? But we need to do some changes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
That's it?
One other question.
Okay, go ahead.
Belongs to the politics.
Mm-hmm.
To get a TRN number, what we have to do to get a TRN number?
Well, first of all, say TRN. Don't say TRN number. It's redundant. Anyway, that's me just fooling around.
TRN. Oh, yes. Oh, you get that. Oh, you have it.
Taxpayer registration number. It's perhaps one of the easiest numbers to get. Their office is as you enter the compound to your left. You go there at Constant Spring Tax Office.
You want to crash road and do it?
Yeah, they do it too. But I'm just talking about the efficiency with which I've heard it said that that the process is done. That in no time you get your TRN, you get your card, taxpayer registration number.
You know, say a couple of years ago, I was trying to get TRN to my son, and apparently, when I reached at the tax office, they told me that they need original paper. I get some copy print up to do it. And they would not take it. And you know, so the same lady where I go up to the counter, send me out there and say somebody out there can do it with the bad paper.
Hmm.
And the guy said, when I went outside, the guy said, $30,000 to do it.
And you didn't go to anybody to tell them that?
Who am I for to?
Some senior member of the team who works at the organization?
No. When I go outside, the guy tell me that, and the guy say, yo, I foreign this come from, you know, that's why he caused that. I say, seriously, and I even said to him, say, all right,
Sorry,
I will give you 15.
hold a moment, please.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs-controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Looking to take your agricultural business to the next level? New growth opportunities are here with the Development Bank of Jamaica. Small farmers, agro-processors, and all MSMEs in the agriculture sector can access up to $30 million in loans. Visit us at www.dbankjm.com or send us a WhatsApp text message at 876-371-3830 to find out about our agribusiness loans. Conditions apply.
Tell a farmer, tell a friend, the EBJ have some feeling. All right, we are trying to build back better.
Looking to grow your agricultural enterprise? The Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program REAP is accepting applications. In partnership with Hunt and STA Trust, the Jamaica 4-H clubs will provide you with hands-on training, expert business guidance, and startup grants to grow your agribusiness. Whether you're involved in crop production, livestock, fisheries, or agro-processing, REAP gives you everything you need to turn your dreams into reality. Don't wait. Applications now open. To sign up, visit Jamaica4HClubs.com.
Volunteers, it's beach cleanup time again. Get ready for International Coastal Cleanup Day 2024 this Saturday, September 21. Observed under the theme, #SeeTheChange. Join Power 106 FM for a live broadcast of the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online this Saturday, September 21 from the Palisadoes Go-Kart Track in Kingston, starting at 6 a.m. Come and show your support for a good cause. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, and Conrad Douglas and Associates Limited, and Environmental Science and Technology Limited, CBA ESTEC. That's a broadcast of the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online this Saturday, September 21, from International Coastal Cleanup Day at the Palisadoes Go-Kart Track in Kingston, starting at 6 a.m., right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks for holding. So sounds like you were prepared to give away yours, so to speak. No, in terms of the 30 odd thousand that you say the person.
No, I tell him, say no. I said to him, say, all right. I go, if you can do it for 15. He said, no, man, as far as this come from, can't do for 15. Least him could have taken 25. And we say, you know what, forget about.
Oh dear.
So I never really get them. I said, you know, when my son come to Jamaica, they'll go and they'll do their thing themselves. But right now, why I try to get one for somebody who's not a Jamaica, can they get it?
I'm not sure. But
yeah, because
go ahead.
You need one. My wife is not a Jamaica.
Okay.
And we'll buy a house over there and I need.
I think once you have to do business with the government, once you have to do business with the government, you need a TRN, a taxpayer registration number.
Mm-hmm. I know, that's why I'm asking. My wife is not a Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
But
come on, I think she would be eligible. I think should be eligible. I think should be eligible as well.
Okay. So if I go to the doctor's office, then they can sort it out.
Just tell them you explain yourself that you have come to apply for a taxpayer registration number TRN, and they will instruct you thereafter.
Yeah, because I have my own, I have my own. But we're going to do a transaction like that, Oh, I need. Okay.
Give it a try and let us know how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number. This one says, good evening, Dervan. P. Diddy got no bail, is at Brooklyn Detention Center, New York, USA. Suicide watch. Oh dear. Kevin Galloway is greeting us. He says, good evening to you, Apostle Dervan, Malcolm, and friends of the Holy Spirit. What a thing. Cuban in Georgia says, Sir Malcolm, I told you that where is it now? I told you, am I not seeing the message now? Let's go down the line. Yes. Right, Sir Malcolm, I told you that the entire diaspora is mad at the Prime Minister over the 28 bank books and 3 businesses as the Prime Minister in... you're asking, is the Prime Minister in a permanent job? He's a public servant who is not supposed to conduct any other business unless it's the people's business. Okay, fair enough. Cuban in Georgia. This one. Hello, Dervan. Breaking news. Mr. Anonymous. Cal. Okay. Franklin McDonald says, thanks in advance for your supporting of Beach Cleanup Day. I see that you will be on the beaches tomorrow, and I hope you will support similar activities across the island, not only in or near the Kingston Harbor. He continues, in connection with International Beach Cleanup Day, please do mention the community of Negril, which was the first in Jamaica to introduce beach cleanup. I remember that clearly. Beach Cleanup Day, way back. Well, I didn't go this far back, 1980s, just a few years off, under the leadership of Katie Zaka of blessed memory. Okay. And let's keep it going here on both sides of the story here on Paro 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. 4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And remember, coming up at 4:15 this afternoon, a preview of the International Day of Peace under the theme Cultivating a Culture of Peace, an overview of the partnership between the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Violence Prevention Alliance, VPA, to foster peace and environmental stewardship, which was launched today. And let's see. So that is coming up at 4:15 this afternoon. A preview of the International Day of Peace. That's the overarching theme. And we encourage all or everybody to participate. All right, here is Wilfred. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dervan and listeners all over the world.
Your volume has gone down.
I must commend
You're back in New York?
Yeah. No, I said beginning of the man in New York. I like this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I'm saying I like the green editorial too today. Read National Heroes Circle, and the government intention was to build the new parliamentary building, which I think is wrong because I know preserving history is very intelligent. God knows they repair it and maintain it. And Heroes Circle is the only area in Kingston that is not a concrete jungle. Every big city have a good park, and they just need to make it a big, nice park, Central Park. Well, in America, every city have parks like that. And we're talking about climate change, they still want to jungle up. Green space in Kingston, because Heroes Circle crossroad is Kingston City, Kingston and St. Andrews Zoo.
It's something I normally admire, whenever I travel. I usually admire the general landscape and how it is kept and spaces for children and so on.
Yeah, man, well maintained.
Yes.
And that's what should be in Kingston.
And I don't think for most of it, I think for most of the time they don't. It is not paid for in the sense of you go and say, I want to put my daughter on this exercise, whatever. Here's my money. You don't need to.
In the parks is free.
Mm-hmm.
And then the parks are well maintained,
Yes.
Yeah, and then Dervan, I like to talk about freedom of speech, the principle of them. You remember it was Frederick Douglass that said the first time, the first thing tyrants dictator attack in democracy is your freedom of speech. Tag you, try to gag you, try to prevent you from being at your best when addressing issue in politics in a democracy. And he opined that that was 1850s before black people was even free. Is your freedom of speech. And he said it was the most important part of all the freedom rights that human has.
Mm-hmm.
That you can express your own inner thoughts as you see them based upon all the things that is going on in the world or how you discern it is.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Others might not like it, but that's your thought.
Mm-hmm.
You see, girl, you see Sister P, and people don't like you to the piece. Sister P did refer to Bruce Golding as Eli. People know what that means. And he has told when he was campaigning against Andrew, he had said, Baby Bruce. Interestingly, Those had to resign. No PMP said, kid, he said, pack your back and that will make people panic, you know. Like history repeating itself.
It's all in the politics.
Yeah, they what I'm saying, you know, the PMP large program named Porsche, you know, and, you know, those are the things like JLP, they're suing the whole PMP headquarters with this political statement. Darrell soon Dayton say what he said infernal, that he said something directly, you know, and his politics said thing called some mood, you know, the kind of new thinking that is, and you know, the kind of new thinking taking place in JLP. He said people said all type of things about, in particular, PJ, Michael Manley, Sister Peter make caricature with John Crow. And Sister P, no PMP leader ever sue them for them to go. You and those and Sierra never sue for those things either. They know it's part of the politics play anywhere in the world. People are free. A man get up this morning and drink the tea with his own fault. He blame the Prime Minister. It's a politics. We'll be quiet in here. I'm on the phone. All right, my friend. Yeah. So, what I'm saying.
We're going on a break. One moment, please.
Yeah, all right. More time next time.
Okay.
Time will be live. One love.
Sure. Take care. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Join your favorite nighttime show, Dear Pasta, with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m. Call in or text in and have great discussions with Dear Pasta as we exchange views on a range of subjects. That's Dear Pasta with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM, the Power 106 FM app, and go-jamaica.com.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try and try. You succeed at last. Persecution you must fear. We don't lose that victory. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Thanks for holding. Good afternoon. Hello?
Greetings and blessings.
Greetings and blessings to you too.
Yes, it is indeed a pleasure what is happening in Jamaica today. When I look at how one party is blaming the other party and both of them is pointing fingers. First, you did that. No, we have to change what is happening in Jamaica. We have to have a change. Because, honestly, my point of view, Jamaica is at a standstill now. We are not growing as a nation. And we need to change the mindset of the people from this two-party system. We want to get more parties into parliament. So we have 3 or 4 parties. So we have formed a number of the smaller parties, the third parties that they would call them. We have formed a coalition known as the Jamaica Unity Alliance. Are registered so we can contest elections and all that. And we are coming with a new paradigm. We are changing what is happening. Even the Constitution, we are saying the Constitution must not be reformed. We are going to change the Constitution so you have a different mindset. One of the things that we are advocating is that every Jamaican must live somewhere. You must never have a homeless Jamaican. We did our survey. Jamaica has 3.4 million acres of land. 1 acre land can give you 10 housing lots. So in truth and in fact, is that we have 34 million housing lots in Jamaica. So we are advocating that every Jamaican must get land. Some people say where it's going to come from. We are looking at the land that they now call Crown land, which the Crown would still control these lands, which is a sizable part of Jamaica. Now, we are proposing when we change the constitution that all Crown lands will revert to the people. So the people will be, through the consensus, we itemize every living Jamaican today, and the housing lot is attributed to that individual. Now, what would that do to Jamaica? It would bring down the crime rate, because a lot of these, what they call squatter settlements, when you look at the statistics, up to 70% of the crime comes from these areas where the people live, in the squatter settlement. That's true. It would create employment and it would create income, because a man have a plot of land, he could plant some food on it and earn a living from it. So we are saying we would bring down crime and we would distribute the wealth of the country a little bit more. Because when you look at what is happening today, tomato, I shudder when I think of it, is selling for $1,200 a pound in Jamaica. When I have a friend, and he lives in Vineyard Town, and on the top of his roof, he put up these little caskets up on the top of the roof. And he raised tomato out of them. The other day, he brought 2 pounds of tomato and said, "This is from my farm and my house stuff." So by having that access to land, you can have earning something, and the money you would save, those who are paying rent now, the money that they would save could go to education. So we would have a better educated nation. And an educated nation is a nation that will excel worldwide. Because when you can have an educated nation, we could also export some of our people. What would happen by that? The people now that is exported, the professionals, they would send remittances, because remittance to Jamaica, I think last year was about $4 billion. So if you can imagine we getting people to leave Jamaica and have good jobs outside of Jamaica that they could now send back. So we could double the remittance to Jamaica. So it's a win-win situation. The Jamaica Unity Alliance, our manifesto, is almost complete. We are just doing some final points to it, that people can see that what we are saying, we have the ways and means to ensure that it happens. It's not a pie in the sky thing that we are looking at. We have ways and means to produce a great nation. So give thanks for having me to explain our mission to save Jamaica.
Happy to oblige. Thanks for the call.
Blessing.
To you too. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Here's another caller. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, are you there?
Hello. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you this afternoon?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
Watching, see what's going on. A lot of things happening in the world that will impact and is impacting our little home island, Jamaica. We see war, escalation, and rumors of greater escalation in the war in Europe, which is a very profound event taking place. It's hardly really mentioned on the television, in the mass media. They're censoring a lot of what's going on there. That war could spill into a nuclear conflict. On one hand, you have Russia, which is heavily armed. It's a nuclear power with thousands of nuclear weapons. They have their nuclear doctrine, where if they feel like the state is being overrun or their territorial integrity is being compromised, that they will shoot. They have a right to drop these weapons. On the other hand, we have NATO, which is led by the USA. They have been sending message of counter-nuclear action against Russia. We have the Europeans. We have places like Finland, which borders Russia, who is, the prime minister using a lot of war rhetoric. We have the old empire, the British, who and their new prime minister, who is also sending threats and purportedly, tacitly giving authorization for the Ukraine to use long-range missiles that can go deep into the Russian homeland and create havoc. And the Russians are saying, if you do that, you are pushing us into escalating. So, we live in a very interesting times, very dangerous times. We noticed we have they have a president in the United States who is not cognitive. They give him speeches to read, give him things to, there's a election campaign going on over there, which is not showing us the fineness of American, if that's the best candidates the American system with all its advances can produce, two, really weak candidates. One was a former president, of course, with a whole lot of baggage, and the other one, a very inexperienced rookie was never been fully supported by most people in the country. You remember that she ran her primary when she wanted to win the nomination in the last election, and she was the first one who had to bow out because the people would not support her, including the black community, who wasn't particularly impressed with her and her record in government. So we have all of this. It's a very, very volatile time. They had to revise the employment number by a record 800,000. In other words, the government put those numbers as jobs being produced when it was not true. The claim is an error. Of course, job numbers affect the markets.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people, Americans in the market, because the little pension thing, which I call a 401k, is tied to that market and the volatility. So there are very small, earners who are tied up in the stock exchange. So you have to be, all these things can give very negative reverberations. Of course, the US dollar, which, by the way, is being subsidized, if you will, by countries like Jamaica. Yes, that's how we get part of their inflationary pressures, based on the fact that we are so tied up in their dollars. their dollar system, that affects us. So it's a whole lot of things that's going on, and there doesn't seem to be, and of course, there's the contest. Remember, I told you about the trade war last week involving the United States, the Western powers, essentially, with the Chinese. And not just the Chinese, but Asia, because Asia is rising as an economic power, a powerhouse. Knowledge has increased. The productivity has increased in those countries. Technology. You have societies like Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the largest economies now in the world. Indonesia, I think, has like about 200 million people, right? It's a huge country in Asia. Very prosperous economy, doing well. They're even making their own cars now.
One moment, please. Just a moment. We need to take a break.
Yes.
Wellington Dental. They offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. Buy a bag of Hydro Feeds and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hydro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $1 million. Weekly price of $100,000 plus daily prizes. To enter, buy any qualified Hydro Feed and text the entry code in the bag for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hydro Farm to Fortune promotion. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. This message is brought to you by the Jamaica Environment Trust.
We have a right to a healthy environment. At the last, so don't break our belly. Anybody who pollute cause big problems. Don't just watch it, you have to report them.
We need clean air to breathe, good healthy food to eat, grown clean and naturally. We have to take responsibility.
Excessive deforestation, burning garbage, dust and noise creation is an unlawful violation. We have to practice conservation. We have a right to a healthy environment. At the last, so don't break our belly. If you have an issue, make a complaint. Let's work together to protect Jamaica. We have a right to a healthy environment. At the last, so don't break our belly. We have to do it part to keep the place clean and take care of our island safe.
We all have a right to a healthy and clean environment. Report any issues to the authorities if you feel your rights have been breached. Call the Jamaica Environment Trust for more information.
Thanks for holding. Please continue.
Yes. So, Dervan, there's also wars going on in Africa. There's a war going on in the Sudan. There's a war going on in the Congo, the rich Congo with all the mineral wealth. In the Sudan, it's the same thing. It's also a rich mineral wealth, oil, gold. You have war going on in Mozambique. It's also another rich natural gas, oil, gold, diamonds. You have all these wars. Of course, Somalia, according to geologists, there's a whole massive amount, trillions of dollars worth of mineral resources in Somalia. Okay. Of course, there's also a war going on in Ethiopia, which has more to do with a sectarian war, meaning one group, I think it's the Amharic group in Ethiopia, fighting against the central government and over land, because their land is being taken and given to developers. It sounds like a familiar story which we have going on in Jamaica, right? With beaches. Now I'm told I saw an article in one of these overseas publications where they list 99% of the beaches have been taken away from Jamaican people. They don't have access to those beaches, right? So that is part of this war for resources.
I would love to know where those beaches are, though. Because they're online, that you can go online and you can see the beaches and so on. But still, I hear people saying that our people are are being
the beaches are being taken, the good beaches. Well, that is what is happening. They are privatizing the beaches. They did that. There was a years ago when I went to Trinidad. One of I was a guest there. One of the richest families in Trinidad, the Sabgas. I'm sure you know them. They had a situation where there was a man killed on a recently privatized beach in Trinidad. The name escapes me right now, but he was a fisherman. He got into a confrontation with one of the security guards, who now took possession of this beach access that the fisherman in Trinidad had, and there was a man who was killed. One of the fishermen. I don't remember what happened in that story, but there was big controversy there too. So this is nothing new. It is a trend where the big powers, right, with their policies, and this is where all the IMF comes in, where we have to be giving up our most choice assets in the country. It's the same thing going on in Ethiopia. A lot of the Ethiopians were kicked off the land so that they could build factories for the Chinese. We are having the same thing with the Messiah people in Tanzania. You've heard of the Messiah. They are both in Tanzania, they're in East Africa, and in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And they take them off of remember, these is their ancestral lands. Push them off because they want to develop. And the government, these black governments, right? These black governments allow these foreigners, these colonizers, to come in and rip off the people off the land. And then you wonder about why there's so much fleeing of the African people fleeing to Europe in these racist countries that only use them and kick them to the curb. Essentially, this is what they do. Remember what they did with the so-called Windrush generation? They just carry them and dump them back into their homeland in Jamaica and other Caribbean islands without check. They knew that these people were legal people. They knew. They know they didn't have any paperwork because most of them were country people who thought that we were part of a so-called empire, right? So all these wars are about resources and control. Who is going to control the world for the next 500 years? This is what this is all about. And guess who are the people who usually suffer in these conflicts, Dervan? Historically, who are the people? Which group of people, you know?
The natives?
Even though who? Pardon me?
Those who are natives?
Yes, but not only natives. What color do these people have? These people are black people.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, they have always used us to go and fight their wars that we're not benefiting from. There was a friend of mine, came from Portmore, very nice guy. He was a George's guy. And he was carried to that bogus war in Iraq. He was a tank man. When he came back, his health was destroyed. And he's younger than I. And that guy now is dead because he had the health issue. He was the only child for his mother. You know, all he got was a funeral with the stars and stripe, you know, a glorious thing, and left his 3 children, you know, to be fatherless in a war which later they told us, which we all knew before, that it was all on a lie pretext. It was for the control of oil and resources. So I am brought this up as part of an aside to remind us that we, as part of this big global situation, and by the way, they have strengthened, you would call it technically like a draft, where your child a certain age has to register to be available for the military in the foreign countries. They are doing it because something is brewing. It might not be tomorrow, might not be next year or the year after, but something is brewing. Because one of the things about the world is that usually they decide a new world order, usually through violence and wars. So, for instance, the British Empire that the sun never set on, right? The British Empire, when they were pushed out from being the major imperial power across the world, that was done in World War II. And then emerged the American Empire. That's when the Americans took over the mantle. In fact, historians will tell you that the Americans capitalized on Britain being pushed to a fifth-rate power. So Britain was no longer this, and notwithstanding, Britain's imperial pretension as some great power, Britain has declined significantly. You understand? They're not really a factor. But anyway, they're one of the central figures who seem to be pushing an escalation of war between the Russians, the Ukrainians, and the other European countries, powers. And that is not a desirable situation. We don't have any leadership in the main hegemonic countries. As I mentioned, they have a leader who is barely cognitive. They knew this from years ago because he had a brain surgery before. He had critical brain surgery before. I'm surprised they don't even mention it in the media, right? But of course, they're not going to mention it. But anyways, so we are kind of on this kind of slippery slope, where any minute, anywhere, because they like to involve Black people in their wars. So we had the Africans fighting in their so-called World War, which was really a European conflict among themselves. But they'll drag us in there. And they're dragging us, in all of these negative things that is not helping our development, and which leads me, Dervan, to our situation here in Jamaica. Because I hear give me a little piece about all the economic models that our failure politicians have been pushing and have pushed. Tell us how this is a good example. Remember I mentioned Seaga telling us about Puerto Rican model, and I told you about the disaster in Puerto Rico. They have pushed this idea of this over reliance on tourism, which is a bad investment. Over reliance on tourism is not good for Jamaica. It isn't. We need to have a more mixed, nuanced model. We need to get some light industry assembly in Jamaica. And it could happen because we see it going on in Mexico. They're manufacturing a lot of cars, assembling a lot of cars over in Mexico. The Chinese are looking to go over there. Yes, Mexico is a bigger market than us. Sure, I understand that. But we can put the Chinese to the test. Because since they want access, we have to play hardball. And we know the two behemoths are fighting over to win friends and influence and control areas. We need to play a hard bargain, and get off of this useless consumption. Why are we bringing all these luxury stuff into Jamaica? Why we need all of these artificial things in an island? We're on a beautiful, picturesque island. Why do we need it? Why do we need to cut our streets, Dervan, with all of these smoke bellowing vehicles? Why are we not putting a sensible policy and gridlock, where we have gridlock on our streets all hours of the day in Jamaica? That is madness on this little island.
Well, these days they've been showcasing electric vehicles and related matters.
But not only the electric, we need to get a monorail. You understand? That
Yes.
lies between Kingston, St. Andrew, Kingston, downtown, all the way.
There's a
back
Jamaican
to,
who has that idea that he shared a couple of years ago,
yes.
which is using the, well, I don't know if I'm at.
Yes.
The,
The monorail to go up
yes.
to even to Spanish Town.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And it would take off a lot of the, because most people don't want to be too. You see, look how.
Sorry, I don't mean to be Scrooge, but I'm afraid there's a pre-packaged segment of the program that we're supposed to be doing right now at 4:15.
We'll resume another time.
Okay.
But we have some important things to throw out there so that our people can push the envelope in what we can do in our country.
Indeed.
Thanks a lot again for your time.
Sure. Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. This is your program. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. More in a moment. 4:15 in the afternoon.
The Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, PSJ, will host their 39th annual conference on September 19 to 22 at the Ocean Coral Spring Resort in Trelawney under the theme Pharmacists, Trusted, Empowered, United for Action. The conference is yet another significant occasion for the pharmacy profession as stakeholders will come together to network, see innovations in the industry, and discuss hot topics in pharmacy. Tune in to Power 106 FM for a broadcast of Power and Glory with Alfie McKenzie on Sunday, September 22 for highlights of the conference. This broadcast is brought to you by the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, PSJ, R.A. Williams, Pyramid Limited, and Cook FP, Marshall's Pharmacy, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. That's an outside broadcast of Power and Glory from the 39th Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica's conference this Sunday, September 22, right here on Power 106 FM. Power 106 FM, the digital sound, now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you could download on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can tune in on your mobile phones by dialing 631-359-8281 if you're in the US. And if you're in the UK, you can dial 0330-606-0953. Plus, listen to us on onespotmedia.com and the One Spot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Both sides of the story.
Confidence in those who serve, especially in the public sector, is vital to Jamaica's progress towards Vision 2030 and beyond. Many people have quietly and diligently
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. It's Friday, the 20th of September 2024. It's the eve of the International Day of Peace, being observed under the theme, Cultivating a Culture of Peace. And we look forward to learning some more and sharing some more as we welcome Chairperson of the Violence Prevention Alliance, Dr. Elizabeth Ward. Good afternoon, Dr. Ward. How are you?
Good, nice to be talking with you.
Likewise. So how will you be celebrating International Day of Peace this year?
Well, we've actually started today. We had a very good launch at Kingston High, where we launched our Peace Garden competition and planted. And what we're doing is running a competition from now till next year, March, Jamaica's Peace Day. And schools are being invited to set up a Peace Garden so that they have green space where you know, disputes can be resolved, people can de-stress, you know, they can have counseling sessions, extracurricular activities, drumming sessions, you know, whatever it is, you know, quiet time, somewhere that is important, that we need to have more of life.
Yes. And what inspired the Violence Prevention Alliance and partners to develop the Peace Gardens initiative?
And we did it in 2018 and 2019, before COVID, and the response was great. It really is that the evidence has shown us that a lot of our tension and trauma and aggression comes with a lot of noise, and also being in just a concrete jungle without any, or just in cyberspace without any connection to nature and caring and sharing and looking after things. Because green spaces are hard to establish and to maintain. You know, even just keeping a tree alive is a challenge.
Yes. And how does it tie, this initiative tie into the broader goal of reducing violence in schools?
Because we've seen that happen, and especially what we're doing. Once you have that space, you also have a location where you can do therapy. So you might need to do specific counseling for children and their parents who are addicted to certain types of behavior. You might want to do more specialized therapy, something like CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. You might want to do drumming therapy, which is also very effective for managing, even having children in structured supervised after school activities, having a place to hold it. All of these things are different types of therapy.
Yes.
And often we don't realize, sounds a bit simplistic, but you don't realize how effective it's done properly. It can be, and how much it helps children, and how it helps teachers and the parents and everybody in the school to just have this clean, green
calm space where they can get away from the violence and the noise and the congestion.
And how do you envision the peace gardens serving as both physical and symbolic representations of non-violence in schools?
Well, you see, this is not being done alone. There are a lot of different interventions that are going on, but many of them are not coordinated in a space or available and not necessarily having a dedication. So it makes it more difficult for these things to happen.
Yes.
And that it you have it, they I don't know if you've seen our flyer, because when we did it before in 2018 and then again in 2019, because the response was really surprisingly large. The school came up with the most beautiful layouts of gardens, even though most years were pretty dry. And there was a lot of creativity and a lot of different skills were used with the children. And just assigning difficult children to do routine tasks that they feel competent in, like looking after and feeding the birds at a certain time, and watering the plant, clearing a space, mixing concrete, or digging a hole to plant a tree, and then looking after that tree, maybe even having that tree named after them. Did you grow up in the country?
No.
Okay.
But I've never had any issues with country at all.
And do you feel the difference when you are in?
Oh yes.
Have that clean, green space and peaceful noise reduction is very, very important in terms of dealing with very difficult behavior.
Yes. And can you give us a little more in terms of elaborating on the criteria for the national competition and how you, sorry, go ahead.
We have a team of people from 4-H, from NEPA, from RADA, from forestry, and we have our other partners such as Ministry of National Security, Early Childhood Commission, and of course, the main partner, of course, Ministry of Education. And we have two private sector partners, Brainware and DB Safety Foundation. So what happens is the group works as and we've all come up with criteria that are circulated to say this is what we will judge your school on. And we're not just looking for space, we're looking very carefully at the activities that they're doing, using the space for peace building and using the kind of therapeutic activities we spoke about. Also, that the environment is friendly, that they're recycling materials, use them in the garden. And, so they're there to give, objective criteria to them. And we're doing it, you can enter, and early childhood institutions will get prizes for second and third. Primary school and secondary will get first, second, and third. So the idea is that because we're doing this with forestry is going to be having free distribution, and schools can, once they've signed up, and send us a picture of where they're going to do the garden, so they have to see what it looks like before. And they can register between now and October 11th. But then the judging will occur next year, January, February.
Mhm. And since the initiative first launched in 2018, what are some of the key lessons learned that are shaping this expanded 2024 version?
Well, the 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 what are some of the lessons that more people need more time and they need to understand how to be able to manage things like drought and some of the agricultural issues. I think we've realized that we need to, and working with the ministry and different programs, that we need to ensure that the right therapeutic programs are being offered to the children who need it.
One moment, please. Sorry to have to cut here, but we need to take a break. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
Pharmacists, trusted, empowered, united for action. That's the theme for the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica's 29th Annual Conference, September 19 to 22. Join them at the Ocean Coral Spring Hotel, Mountain Spring Bay in Trelawney, where stakeholders in the pharmaceutical industry will come together to network, see innovations in the industry, and discuss hot topics in pharmacy. For further details, visit info@psjjamaica.org or call 876-978-4199.
It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, fitting, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515. Volunteers, it's beach cleanup time again. Get ready for International Coastal Cleanup Day 2024 this Saturday, September 21. Observed under the theme, #See the Change. Join Power 106 FM for a live broadcast of the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online this Saturday, September 21 from the Palisadoes Go-Kart Track in Kingston, starting at 6 a.m. Come and show your support for a good cause. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, and Conrad Douglas and Associates Limited and Environmental Science and Technology Limited, CBA ESTEC. That's a broadcast of the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online this Saturday, September 21 from International Coastal Cleanup Day at the Palisadoes Go-Kart Track in Kingston, starting at 6 a.m. right here on Power 106 FM.
You can get it if you really want, but you must try.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. It's the eve of the International Day of Peace under the theme, Cultivating a Culture of Peace. And it's a collaborative effort. There's a partnership between the Ministry of Education and Youth and the Violence Prevention Alliance. And the aim is to foster peace and environmental stewardship, which was launched today, featuring stakeholders, desired outcomes, etc. And we are grateful to Dr. Elizabeth Ward, chairperson of the Violence Prevention Alliance, for sharing with us on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story. So we were referencing 2018 and some of the key lessons learned that are shaping this expanded 2024 version, which you were kind enough to share with us before we took the break.
Yeah. So I think one of the things, though balance is very complex, and there are many causes and there are many inputs. There are things that all of us can do to help reduce the violence and build peace. and the opportunity that Peace Garden give us to learn more about some of these things that we can do to prevent violent episodes in our schools. And we will be working with different interventions that look at small arms control in schools, also looking at how do you reduce trafficking in schools. There's restorative justice circles that are run at schools. But we're trying to target people that need those interventions and ensure that they get the right kind of therapy that is there. And it's not necessarily that they're going to just happen in the garden, but it starts the movement and then we can link to other interventions and other locations where needed. I think monitoring and documentation of the best practices that we have learned is something that we're going to pay more attention to. And, that's one of the things that we got several very good case histories, but we could look more to see maybe why some things didn't stand out and what would be the factors that encourage them to sign up and stick with it, because from now till next year March is a challenge to keep everything going and keep everything alive and keep the students engaged. But we have 4-H working with us. We have that working with us already, but they're now focusing on helping us to achieve a different outcome, rather than just providing. They're using it as the cultivation component or growing component of it to be part of the therapy for and for peace building. But that's one thing. Other things that are happening tomorrow, well, the Mandible Peace Forum.
Sorry, lost you for a moment there. The Mandible Peace, you were saying?
Yeah, there's the Mandible Peace Coalition that is going to be having a forum tomorrow evening, and they work in a certain number of communities in and around Mandible, doing work during the year, and then they also celebrate International Peace Day. In Trenchtown tomorrow, there will be drumming for peace. This is drumming activities have really shown to be very therapeutic and even good for management of trauma, because it's the rhythm that is there, and you're actually doing drumming therapy. We've actually been able to measure that there are changes in the brain and enhances the role of the inhibitory centers and the frontal cortex, where you make reasoning decisions. So it helps young people to it calms them down so that they don't, and allows them to release the aggression when they're doing and tension when they're doing drugs. So we have several areas. We've been measuring the impact from during COVID, what we did, because we couldn't do the garden. We did the drumming in children's homes, and we've actually measured that the behavior of the children has changed over time. So we continue that, and we're doing it in schools and also in some of the children's homes. And so that will happen. And then the Jamaica Basketball Association are having and branding of their basketball for sport for all and engaging students again instructions to provide activities are very good for building the peace and helping people to learn how to resolve issues and conflicts peacefully.
Mm-hmm. And what can you tell us in respect of the general feedback, the general response to all that's been done so far and are still being done?
Well, I think what we're facing is that we have very little resources that are being assigned to this kind of prevention work. And so the funding that is needed to do something like international beach cleanup days tomorrow. And they have extensive funding to do what they're doing. And then they've also got the schools to raise their own money to do beach cleanup. But that is a lot more fun than saying we are going to be building a peace garden and running activities for the next year to see that the school functions better and that there are less fights and the teachers are less traumatized and the parents are less traumatized and learning is improving. So this is the difference, and it's much easier to get funding for a one-day, one-off activity. And then, but we keep going forward and encouraging people. And what is really nice is one, the media is always very supportive of what is being done. All the agencies were very quick and understanding to be willing to participate and to roll it out through their institution. And the Ministry of Education is very clear that it is useful. The head of the Guidance Counseling Association was with us there today, and along with other groups. And they realize how much can make their work easier and how effective it can be. So, I've always learned, one of my old public health doctors said, do it small, do it grow. It's not so small, 100 nice. Maybe we'll get more than 100, but we're targeting difficult schools. We're not just targeting what we would call in medicine worried well patients or worried well schools. We are looking to help schools that are really need support and use this opportunity to provide. So we would like, to this time around to try and find people to really help some of these difficult schools with a lot of challenges on a daily basis to be able to use these methodologies and to establish their gardens and use them and, track how well it helps or what could have made it work better.
Mm-hmm. And what's the essence of the support that you've been getting, though, just in terms of partners? Are there particular partners on board?
Well, the Ministry of National Security and even the areas of trafficking in persons and the prevention units within the Ministry of National Security, the safety and security units of the ministry and the guidance counselors very supportive. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, forestry, NEPA, RADA, early childhood commission, very keen to have as many of their schools having these spaces. And forage, and they have a reach to most of the schools and or many schools and reach about 45,000 students. So, and but are the students the ones that we need to reach? So today we were at Kingston High. It's in a difficult community area, and but they do have an active 4-H group there. They do have their cadets and their band, and they do have an ongoing drumming program and music program, which they are doing. They have a population of 70% male.
Mm. And we could go on.
And it could go on. So they're so, but people to help provide the interventions that they need, work with the principal and the guidance counselors, and even just somebody. Sometimes there are lots of children that don't have anybody to talk things out with, or just to sit down and have somebody listen to them, rather than always being corrected and told what to do. And we don't. One of the things that's good therapy, Dervan, is grandmother love. You understand me? Not that you're saying that you're not judging the behavior. You're working with the individual to help them improve over time.
Yes.
So it's a process. I mean, it's maybe you come and or work with your school, or maybe you're on a PTA board or a school board.
Yes.
I think we can all get involved and go and spend time.
Yes.
And how much the students and the population enjoyed and appreciated the work that was done there today. And then if we continue and build it out, which we plan to, it helps them to maintain and to help the children flourish and learn.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you once again for the tremendous work that you have been doing, and trust that you will not
and it fits into the bigger international picture, because this is the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which is 16. We have safe, just society. And all of these things are important components, and we're using what we call evidence-informed practices that have been used in many different parts of the world, from South Africa to Mexico to Asia, that have shown that these components and one of the key components in the INSPIRE strategy of evidence-based program is safe, clean, green space, and having it available for use by children and students.
Yeah, well, looks like you have it together.
I'm coming here though because I want to hear about the peace guys that you have supported between now and you have to get them registered by the end of by October 11th. You need to register by then.
Okay.
You get your school to apply online. There's a link on the flyer that you have, and you fill in the form, and it, once the principal or the guidance counselor or the dean of discipline signs up the school for it, then the work starts to fill out the space, but more importantly, to have the right kind of activities reaching the students that need it the most and their families.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Maybe by next year you'll become a convert. You know, I hear you.
Looking forward.
Okay, good stuff.
Thank you so much. Listeners, Dr. Elizabeth Ward, Chairperson of the Violence Prevention Alliance. Once again, all the best, and we look forward to the other activities for International Day of Peace. Well done, as usual.
Thanks, Dervan. Bye.
It's been a pleasure. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story. Oh, yes, we need to go to that break now, and then we come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
10 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
The Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica will host the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnic World Congress 2024 from September 25 to 27 at the Hilton Rosal Resort and Spa in St. James. The global experts will meet to analyze the future of technical and vocational education and training under the theme Empower, Equip, Excel. Tune in to Power 106 FM on Wednesday, September 25 for a live broadcast of Power Talk from the Congress. This broadcast is brought to you by the Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica, CCCJ. That's a broadcast of Power Talk this Wednesday, September 25, from the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics World Congress at the Hilton Rosal Resort and Spa in St. James, live on Power 106 FM at the Power 106 FM app. But you must try. You succeed at last. Persecution, you must be. Freedom looking at it with your shield. You got your mind set on a tree.
I'm supporting of
Yes, I see that. Opposition, but you must try. You succeed at last.
So just a couple of notes as we get ready to wrap. Notes of reinforcement. International Day of Peace will be observed around the world on September 21st. That's tomorrow, Saturday, the 21st of September, under the theme Cultivating a Culture of Peace. And it's the Violence Prevention Alliance in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Youth and other partners will launch peace gardens and drumming activities in schools across Jamaica in observation of the day. Jamaica faces significant challenges relating to crime and violence, which in recent times has spilled over into the schools and having an adverse effect on the children and school environments. So the Peace Garden Initiative aims to address these issues within the local landscape, including all types of violence, prevalence, and use of small arms and trafficking in persons, all contributing to violence and instability. The initiative will be implemented in the form of a national competition, encouraging schools across Jamaica to participate in the development of peace gardens. Peace gardens. The competition will open on September 20th and close on the 11th of October. The Peace Gardens initiative will target approximately 100 schools across all 7 regions of the Ministry of Education and Youth, focusing on institutions with higher rates of violence or those located in vulnerable communities. So that's just in case you missed us at the start, as far as the International Day of Peace initiative goes, that's what it's all about. So now you know. Now you know. So you know exactly what to do. Over to you. As we continue here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, we'd like to thank our guests, our participants on today's edition of the program. We see that Galloway Kevin has been messaging us. He says, greetings to the JCF, JDF, and all the military across the world for Jesus' sake. And super thanks. You're welcome. Always happier indeed. Galloway Kevin says, greetings to you and all amazing facts media groups across the world. Looking forward for the promise of the Father. Watchmen on the walls of Jerusalem. Thank you for your messages. Thank you. Hello to Natalie Winter. Peter Barkley says, I have a question, Mr. Dervan. Why can't one person have so much money? Is there a limit on success? It depends on the conditionalities. What's the nature? What's at play? What's happening? Who is involved? Etc. It depends on those conditionalities. So I hope that answers your question, Peter Barkley. Good to see you online. It's been a while. Chemist Roden says, pure blessings to you and all Jamaicans. Dervan, thank you. Norman Hines in St. Thomas. Good afternoon to you too. Thank you very much for tuning in. Albert in Coconut Creek, Florida says, Dervan, my take on the IC's report is the long delay and the inconclusive results on some issues after such elaborate investigations that seems to be nothing is now shining a bad light on them. The continuous illicit enrichment calls and utterances from the opposition now makes it seem they had some intimate knowledge. The debate will continue to rage on, but we'll have a debate if we must. Thank you very much. Let's go up the line here and see the other messages. Yeah, looks like they've all been checked. Esmond's Curry Powder. We met them at the 10th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference. They have been more than motivated, and we look forward to checking up on their growth and development so far. Good afternoon to the team from Esmond's Curry Powder. I hope you're having a good day, says the representative. And that's it. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm inviting you to join us for International Coastal Cleanup Day tomorrow, right here in Jamaica.
You're listening to Borough 106 FM. The time is now 5 o'clock. News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
JLP candidate for Northeast St. Anne, Matthew Saluda, says PNP does not stand a chance in shaking parties.